At the beginning of 1997, I traveled to Africa. I went to work in this country. Not as small as it might look at first, Eritrea is roughly the size of England, with over 1,000 kilometers of coastline on the Red Sea. Nine different ethnic groups, forming a population of 4 million. If today Eritrea is one of the poorest countries on earth, with 2/3 of the population depending on food aid to survive, there was a time when this was one of the richest places in Africa. From 1890 to 1941, Eritrea was an Italian colony. Mussolini had the dream of recreating his own Roman Empire in this colony. By the time of the Second World War, Eritrea had a number of factories and whole cities had been designed by Italian architects. The Italians were defeated here in 1941 by English and Ethiopian troops. For the next 11 years, England took charge of the administration. Having many colonies of its own and not being interested in this one, England dismantled the factories and the infrastructure and took them elsewhere. The colony was quickly impoverished. In 1952, the United Nations decreed Eritrea to be federated with Ethiopia. And then, in 1962, disregarding the Eritrean request for independence, decreed Eritrea to be incorporated as part of Ethiopia. Under the leadership of Haile Selassie, Ethiopia dissolved the Eritrean parliament, established control and forced the proud Eritreans into a fierce independence struggle that was to last for 30 years, the longest war in Africa of the 20th century. During the 30 years independence struggle, 1/5 of the population left Eritrea. Many Eritreans also left the cities and headed to the mountains, to live in caves and trenches and to fight from there. Ethiopia was backed firstly by the United Nations, then by the United States, and finally by the USSR. Eritreans lost faith in the rest of the world, which left them alone with their struggle. In May 1991, Eritrea defeated Ethiopia and its independence was acknowledged by the world through a United Nations supervised referendum in May 1993. As a result of war, 65,000 Eritreans had died, and 40% of families had female heads of household. But the proud and self-reliant newest African nation could finally celebrate.